What's good, people? This video is about how to tell when we are overextended or not to help you make your daily bias, because a lot of people have been asking me about how I tell when we are overextended or not, right? So let's talk about it. Today I took a short like this, something like that. Um, Obviously this, I'm just letting you know, like, I took a short, right? Why did I take a short? Because I thought this move was overextended and we were due to a retrace into this 4 hour for value gap, which clearly we did, right? So how am I? And I also did this once again. I believe this day I caught a long here because once again I believed we were due for a retrace, right? And obviously you can see this is a similar pattern. Overextended, retrace. Overextended, retrace. This is not really overextended at all. I would not say so. And then retrace, and then pump back up, and then boom, retrace, right? Now how can I tell for a fact that we are overextended, right? So I'm not an indicator trader, but there is something called the RSI, which is the relative strength index, okay? And all this tells you, okay, is that when we are overbought or oversold. And I'll show you it right now, and then I'll talk about how we can read this, okay? So these chart colors are booty. So I'm going to fix that real quick and then help y'all understand how to read it. Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so this is the RSI, right? Essentially, when we come down, this is our relative strength index, okay? So when we are all the way down here, outside of this 30 line, underneath it, okay, that means that we are extremely oversold and we are due for a retrace back to the upside, okay? Same thing when we are all the way up here. If we are too high up here, if we go above, now this is where like indicator trading is like not how you should trade, but I'm just like, this is just to show you that, for example, if we are too high up here, that means that we're overbought, period, okay? This indicator means absolutely nothing unless we are here above the 70 or below the 30, okay? If we are within this region, I don't care, okay? So for example, some traders, who like strictly trade off of indicators, right? What they can use is this moving average, okay? And obviously, if it's the average, you're going to assume that for the most time, price is going to retrace to the average, right? So you could say that like, oh, price was down here, right? You can be like, oh, I think we're going to be bullish to return back to this moving average, right? And we were, right? But indicator trading does not always work, and it's probably one of the worst possible ways to trade, right? And I'm not an indicator trader, but this does verify for me when we are overextended, okay? So for example, I'm gonna put it into bar replay. So what I saw going into market open is we were outside this region on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. Outside the region. Again, let's go to the 30-minute. Outside the region a little bit, but once again. And then the 15-minute looks like we're about to be outside, right? And then when you get lower and lower and lower on the time frames, they'll very much differ, right? But since we are basically outside of the region, and I can't really, I doubt it'll let me show it, but as price continues on a little bit, okay, it's not going to show me like while price is, let me see if I can show you on the 30. Hold on, we have a pump up at some point. Oh, this is 7:15. That's why. I don't know why I did that. There we go. I missed it. I'm a donut. Okay, but point is, at 9:30, when we were all the way up here, you can tell we are well outside this region, right? We're all the way right here. Once again, I can't really explain. I can't really show it on the 4 hour because it's just going to show the whole 4 hour candle. But the 1 hour, we were outside the region. The 15-minute, we were outside the region. The 5-minute, we were outside the region, right? It's clear we were overextended. This is a strong move up. It was time for a retrace, right? And that's why I wanted to see a retrace into, let's say, the 4 hour for value gap was right here, or right, you could have done equilibrium. Same thing. So you could have targeted an imbalance for the purpose of a rebalance, or target equilibrium for the purpose of the same thing, a rebalance, right? I didn't target equilibrium because I honestly didn't think we would go down that far. Equilibrium was, I believe, like towards the bottom of the fair value gap. Yeah, as you can see, it didn't get hit, and I'm not sure it will get hit. Maybe we want to retrace back to this BPR here. Oops. Maybe we want to retrace back down to this BPR and then come and hit equilibrium. But essentially, this is how. Now, obviously, first I'll use my eyes, right? I don't have this indicator up 24/7. I'll use my eyes and be like, okay, this is, I think it might be overextended, and then I verify off the RSI, right? So, for example, I'll just go to the 1 hour, right? And I'll just go back into time, and we can just look at right here, right? So, for example, this region right here, it's clear, right? We are overextended. We are overbought here, meaning we are due for a retrace back down, right? What happens? What happens, right? At the peak of its height, which is right here, this candlestick right here, nothing goes above it. We immediately retrace. You could have targeted this fair value gap and then targeted this low. So you could have, this was a crazy dump. But once again, this doesn't tell you how far down we're going to go. It just tells you we are going to rebalance. So you could have assumed that we are going to rebalance to this fair value gap, right? Or equilibrium, right? And then continued back up. It doesn't tell you anything but that, right? But since we didn't have this huge sell-off all the way down here, right? Look at equilibrium again. Or, sorry, look at the RSI again. We are well outside this region, right? Look, this is the lowest point of the RSI, right? You can look at my crosshairs, right? Lowest point of the RSI, as you can see, this is the bottom of the move. And what happens? Boom. Now, what could you do to target on the back of this? Clearly, you were looking for a rebalance, right? Equilibrium. Bang, would have got hit, right? And this works for everything, right? You can see, like, this is just a bunch of chop work. All this stuff in the middle doesn't matter. We don't care about that. It's just look at the chart first. Determine if we are even overextended or not. For example, this day, huge, and this is on the hourly, right? So we've been pumping, not a single retrace for a fat minute until we get to all the way up here, right? So as you can see, like this whole move, right? Wait, pause. No diddy. But this whole move, right? No retrace, right? No retrace at all. I'm immediately going into market open on this day. I'm going to say I want to see a retrace, right? Looks like we are overextended. How can I verify that we are overextended? RSI, right? You just pull it up. Clearly, we are outside this region, above it, right? Well above it. What does that mean? That means that we are overbought and we are due for a rebalance, right? Immediately rebalance, equilibrium, bang, right? Could have targeted this fair value gap as well. This arrow fair value gap right here. Bang. Would have got smacked. So basically, if we are within this region, it means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care about it. But I don't even have this up. It's only when I'm like, okay, I think we might be overbought or oversold, right? That's all that it is used for. When we are above the 70, right? When we are above this mark, that means that we are overbought and we are probably going to go down, okay? And rebalance. If we are underneath the 30, right? That means that we are probably oversold and that we are probably going to retrace. For example, once again, this big move up, right? Big move up. What happens? We come, let's say on this day, you're like, okay, I think this is overextended. I think it's time for a retrace. Check the RSI. Boom. We are outside this region. That verifies that we are for a retrace. What do you see? Retrace. Once again, clearly target equilibrium. And it gets hit, right? I feel like this is a very underrated tool. Now, I'm not saying you don't use this every day, right? This is just to determine if we are overextended or overbought, right? There's really no point in doing any more examples. I feel like you guys probably can get the gist. If we are underneath here, that means we're oversold and due to a retrace back up. And if we are above here, that means that we are overbought and due for a retrace back down, right? That's all that this tells you. We're not indicator traders, right? But this does verify. And as y'all boys know, I started out with indicators. So your boy, man, I know my indicator stuff. Unfortunately, made me $0, by the way. Made me only lose money. So take it from an old indicator trader. Never use indicators, okay? But this is just something to verify that we are overbought or oversold. That's the only purpose of this. I never have this up on my charts. You guys can see on all my social media. I never have it up. But if I'm determining my daily bias, and I'm like, okay, we might be overextended, whether overbought or oversold, I can verify using this, and that's it. This will just give me even more confidence that we are overbought or that we are oversold. And now by no means am I saying that we're gonna come here and then we're gonna go all the way down here so I can target all the way down here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we are due for a rebalance. When we are overbought, we are going to want to rebalance back into the normal zone, back within the 30 to 70 range. Okay, that's all that I use this for. So, like I said, it just determines when we are overbought. So, that's really it, boys. That's really how I determine daily bias, or sorry, that's how I determine if we're overextended or not. I had a lot of people ask me about it, what it means, how I determine it. Obviously, first I determine it with my eyes, right? I'm not a donut. And from there, if I do believe that we are overbought or oversold, I verify with RSI. Once it's verified, at this point on this day, all you need is just the right execution time. Just do not get stopped out. Because if we are overbought and you believe we're due for a retrace, so like first it's like indicator trading plus ICT trading, right? So it's like on days like this, it's nearly every single time I will win. Nearly every single time I will hit a banger trade because I know that we're overbought, right? Because of this this index, right? And because of that, this index doesn't tell you how far down we're going to go, but ICT does, right? We know what an imbalance is. We know what equilibrium is. So, yeah, I really just use this, like I said, like 20 times. I just use this to determine if we're overbought or oversold. That's what I did today to catch this down move into this 4 hour for value gap. Once again, use your eyes first, right? I mean, here's a clear example. Clear sell off, right? Underneath the 30, outside the range. You want to rebalance. Clearly, you can see we rebalance and then pump back down a little bit. But we want the rebalance, right? So you could have targeted this fair value gap. Oops. This fair value gap right there, right? We're not catching the full move. We don't know if we're going to go from down here all the way back up to above the index. We just know that we're going to rebalance. That's all that we know. Like, we're going to rebalance, okay? So, I don't know if we did end up hitting equilibrium. It's close. Okay, we did. So, you could have targeted this fair value gap and equilibrium as just a rebalance, right? And you can see we hit them both, and then we pump back down again, right? So, that's just how I do it. This is how I determine if we are overbought or oversold, aka overextended. Really helps me use my find daily bias. Once again, to find this, you literally just look up relative strength index on right here, or just RSI. And once again, all you really care about is if we're above the 70 or below the 30. If not, it does not mean anything. I promise y'all, boys. As an X indicator trader, it means nothing. It doesn't tell you anything. It literally only does more harm than good. If we are down here, though, that does mean that we're due for a retrace. And remember, be aware of your time frames, right? Like this thing changes per time frame, right? Like it looks different every time frame. So like on the 5 minute, see, like this is a good example. We have this big pump up, right? Clearly, this is for the 5 minute. If we're thinking about for the 5 minute, this is a pretty big pump. It's probably time for a retrace on the 5 minute, right? Boom. Retrace back into this we could have just targeted this, right? And then what happens? We pump well above, and then this whole entire pump, right? We're all the way up here. That's it, right? So you can see we go above the RSI region right here, right here. Let me get it right there, and then we get this small 5 minute retrace. Wow, what is that? This small 5 minute retrace, right? So once again, just be aware on what time frames you're using this on. Obviously, I use this to determine my daily bias only. So I am using this on what? Only the 4 hour and the 1 hour. That is it. I don't really look at the daily too much. So I'm really only using it on the 4 and the 1. That's it. And honestly, really just the 4 hour. Because the 4 hour determines my daily bias for me. But yeah, boys, that's really it. That's how I determine if we're overextended or not. Definitely a big help. Hope that helps you guys as well. And yeah, boys, that's it. I'll catch y'all. Peace.